Hey guys, new video here. Made this build yesterday, and people in my chat told me it's a pretty good build, and I was excited to play it. It's an ignite build. So what that means is you go elementalist, you take this. What this means is anytime you hit an enemy, it doesn't matter if it's cold damage, lightning damage, fire damage, everything's gonna ignite, okay? And this ignite is gonna be pretty juicy. The only time you don't ignite on this build is if you run a map that has like the 70% chance to avoid elements. And then that will be multiplied by 1.29, which makes it pretty crazy, right? The mobs have like 90 something percent chance to avoid your ailments, but if you just avoid those maps, everything should be ignitable. It should spread everywhere because you have things like the extra spite, which is one kind of ignite prolif. You have a prolif gem somewhere here. I have anomalous, which gives the AoE. That should prolif everywhere. And then you have something like, what is it? You have like fan the flames, right? Basically, if you ignite, right, it should just like spread around to the surrounding area. Now, radius of 15 is pretty small. That's half the radius of a base discharge, right? But there's a lot of ignites going on with your Divine Ire because it hits so many times that this build in maps should feel really good because once you ignite something, everything in a few screens should be dead technically, right? The thing I can't figure out is why it feels so bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you this map. This is a very normal map here. This is a strand map. Let me take these out real quick. This is a strand map. Nothing too special about it. I'm just going to put it in and I'm going to run it with Beyond, right? As I have a headhunter. And I want you to just notice what happens when the Beyond spawn in and things like that, okay? So it might look okay, right? Now this strand, this has a Nemesis 3 in it. You know what? This, it's okay. We'll just do it without the Nemesis 3. We'll just waste that one. It's totally fine. Because I just want to show what this looks like, right? And it's kind of hard to see because when you're watching a build, it might look a little bit different than playing it. And this build on paper should be incredibly good, right? Now, I have a Mana Flask right now just because I haven't enchanted Amulet for more negative resist. So as you see there, right, you blast something with your thing, and then there's some prolifs going off, and I have explodies as well, right? And sometimes I roll Gloom Shrine on my map, and then those explodies work as well. So you can see like the ignite going off there. But once the Beyond spawn in, I feel like the ignite isn't really going as far and as like quick. There's like this little delay on the ignite, which is kind of annoying me, right? Now I'm going to shift into the Scourge, and I'm going to show you something here. So it might look okay, but like look at the radius here. You see like what happens with these Beyonds here. It really feels like that 15 radius isn't really working sometimes, like when they walk in, or maybe the ignite's not lasting long enough. But I'll show you like some of the gear and some of the things I've done on the tree, right? Because look, it might look okay, but it doesn't feel okay. And that's the biggest issue I have for this build for anyone trying to play it, right? These little circles that you see off the corpses when they die, that is an ignite prolif. See that like boo, 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 boo. Those circles, those are the prolifs. And you can kind of see like if I were to kill a Strange Barrel is a box that keeps spawning spiders, right? It's prolifing a little bit, right? And then they come out and obviously that prolif stopped. But it doesn't last long enough, right? And duration is very hard to scale on this build, and it doesn't last long enough, and I feel like the radius isn't good enough in any situation. If I've even tried things like Toxic Sewer and maps where like it should be pretty good, right? I'm gonna go back into the Scourge again, and you'll see like the cleanup is a little bit messy. It should really be a lot bigger of an ignite prolif. Like you can see kind of like where it's going, and then you get this big explodey, and of course the explodey also has base fire damage, right? Because I have some conversion, but then of course I have Shaper Flames, and then I have Headhunter, which can steal Fizz as extra damage as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going here, and you'll see that like the cleanup is a little bit slow, right? Now another weird thing about this build that I'm really not liking, and maybe you guys can help me out with, is that I don't feel like sometimes the ignite even works, right? And I'm very careful to not run the avoidance. For example, sometimes I see like mobs walk over corpses, and there's like this little stutter. It's like they're like there, but their health isn't taking down the ignite, and then maybe one of them will get ignited real quick, and they'll explode, and the explode will take care of stuff. So that little like staccato, that little like boom, right? It's like mobs are alive, and then suddenly dead, right? There's no like, you can't really see the ignite prolif going off all around you, which I really don't like. And once again, that might look good, right? Like you can see like that clears pretty good for one Divine Ire, but it really doesn't feel that good. And another thing is like there's a weird playstyle. I'll have to draw it in paint for you. Because the way you're supposed to do this, right, is the way Divine Ire stacks up a huge ignite is once it stacks to 20 stacks, it's the max, and you should release it then. But the issue is that the way you have to play this is you want to off screen, right? So you want to like shoot a divine ire into like nowhere, because like you want to like off screen and have that chain off screen. But the issue is, because the divine ire, these little tendrils, you see the circles forming, the tendrils hitting a normal mob or a rare and unique mobs generates the stacks faster. And so what happens there is, like, you do want to off screen and just keep shooting off screen whenever you see a mob, but it makes sense to jump into the group of mobs to get the tendrils out, to get a bigger ignite, a bigger stack of divine ire, which is this weird playstyle, because then you're kind of in danger and you're channeling. And of course, like, the channeling, the little tendrils do damage, right? If you've ever fought some of those little tendy guys in the Scourge that like one shot you, yeah, that's pretty scary. So that's okay too. But it's just like this weird like kit of playstyle and like feeling that doesn't really go too well together. Like, I mean, it's an okay enough build, and I did kill Cyrus with this. I did kill Cyrus 9 with this earlier when I was like I was a few levels lower, right? This is like the first time I'm playing the build, but it just, I don't know, something about the build just feels kind of weird. But it would be an okay build, I think, if you weren't running Beyond. So that's why I still want to make a video on it, because I think that this kind of build would be really fun for certain type of players who want to build this way. If you weren't running Beyond and there's no like extra mobs spawning in, you might be able to get away with maps like Silo, Tower, where things are really closely packed and there's not that much room for this beam to go. Surprisingly, I thought that open maps would be a lot better, because, you know, your beam takes up like this area and the prolif just keeps chaining everywhere, and the more room there is to chain, the better it would be. But that's actually not the case. So this is very suited for a map like Silo. Felt wonderful, Tower felt pretty damn good, but open maps did not feel good at all. So I wouldn't play this build on open maps. Okay, now let me show you what I mean by like the playstyle that feels like the kit is kind of weird here. So I'm gonna go into paint here and start about the flashbang. And I'm going to go and do this, and I'm going to draw my character here. Okay, this is my character right there. And so the beam, let's say that this is the divine ire beam, right? And let's say that your monitor is a regular, I don't know, 16:9 monitor. So I'm going to do a little square here, and like this is like your it should be in the middle, right? Because the character is always in the middle. But okay, so like that's the monitor, right? So let's say that these orange X's, right, are the mobs, like here, 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 and here. So the playstyle is like on the edge of your screen here, right? Let's just draw a few more so you know there's a huge pack here. So on the edge of the screen, you see a pack of mobs, right? So you start channeling your divine ire to get a big ass ignite, because here's what you want to do, right? I'm guessing at this point in the league, you're all juicing your maps. So there's also going to be a huge pack here. There's going to be a huge pack here. And you know there's a bunch of crap on this map. So you see the big pack, you start loading up your divine ire. Now the issue is, when you're playing like this, you're not close to the mob, so your divine ire stacks is probably not going to hit 20, right? So you do it here because you want to hit this pack, and then you want to prolif this off screen to everywhere, right? We've all seen those clips where someone clears 3 screens, but that for some reason with my build isn't happening. And once again, I'm gonna go over all the gear, I'm gonna go over the skill tree, and you might be able to figure out why, but I just can't figure it out because I'm retarded. So this is what you want to happen, but you know, you're not gonna have stacks, so sometimes the ignite will be a little bit shy, right? It won't be like that big. So what's ideal actually is that you're like running around real fast, and you just a flame dash, or if you have a shield, you can like shield charge if you want. You just go into the pack. So you take your character and you go into the pack like this, but that takes time, right? Because you got to run in there, and then you're not really off screening, right? You're like running in there, and it's kind of dangerous while you're running in there, because then your tendies are going to stack you to 20 really fast, and that big ignite will be faster to prolif wherever you want, right? But then, you know, that wastes time. It's this weird, like, do I start channeling now and just start shooting randomly? And if you just start shooting randomly, it's fine, but you're wasting a lot of time in that space. And then stragglers are a huge issue. A really, really big issue, especially if you're running Beyond, and if there's things coming out of the ground like abysses, you know, Beyond spawning in, you know, any kind of leak kind that spawns in. Even on some breaches, I felt kind of weird, and this is like, it just caused me to feel like the build isn't performing as it's supposed to, right? So this is kind of where the weird playstyle comes in. You'll notice this, you'll always be deciding, man, if I beam right now, you know, I'm not gonna get that full stacks. It's so slow, even with cast speed. But if I jump in, it might be a little bit scary. And this build is kind of tanky, right? I have a lot of armor. I don't usually die to any of the mobs. I can handle Scourge 200 plus, and I have a lot of maximum res. Okay, so that's not a big deal. But it's just the playstyle does not feel that good, right? So let's go ahead and talk about what I've done with this build in terms of the gearing, right? So if you look here, right, I am using a header, but you don't need to use that. You could use it like whatever you want. So I am using a gloves with multi and some conversion. The conversion is because I have a 40 stack of conversion up here, right? That plus this plus the half already converted makes it very strong. And then that will also help with the walk that I'm setting up. So gloves with just a little bit of damage, boots with a little, these are very good boots, you know, elusive tailwind. They all work, right? Because I'm EO and stuff like that. Even though I'm EO, I still can generate this. And I have onslaught, right? A little bit quicker, a little bit more. Cast speed is very, very important for the divine ire. I have one ring that has flammability, has -3. I will eventually try out a amulet that has -3. I just need to open prefix so that my 5 mana becomes 2 mana. So flammability here, a barracks here for spreading of the ignites, and then we have a just a +2 amulet here. We have a very nice +2 staff here. I'm not actually using Access Spider because I can't fit it in with the mana reservations, right? It's got a little bit of free Arcane Surge, but I also attach an Arcane Surge to the Flame Surge, so I have it up on even single target and bosses and stuff like that, right? Enduring Cry in here just to generate some life, get some endurance charges. Chest is an Explodey. I think Explodey and Gloom Shrine and any kind of pops that you can get are really good. They actually don't interfere with the prolif of it, because like this is only 30% chance, and even get a Gloom Shrine thing that's 60% chance, so it's not really I've tested it with and without the Gloom Shrine and everything, and it felt even better with the Gloom Shrine. So Explodey does not actually negatively affect this build. I've tried that. This is a nice little, I double corrupted this. I actually bricked like 100+ exalts of chests before I was able to get this one. It really sucked. But yeah, you don't need that like that implicit on there. That's just like for a little bit of fun there, and spell crit, right? So I can get my EO uptime very, very high. Especially with the Headhunter. Now the Unshattered Will, you can either use a armor shield here, or like a very high armor shield, or you can go with Unshattered Will. This gives a greater Harbinger of Time. What it does is half of the time, 50% uptime, you are immune to, well, curses don't affect you. You're immune to stun, you're immune to ailments, and you take 20% reduced damage, okay? And that's, he casts on you when you are channeling. So just think of it as 50% uptime for those buffs. Really, really nice there. It's got a little bit of life, got a little resist, you know, chance of block, whatever. That's all nice too. Okay, and a little bit of tiny a tiny bit of mana gain when you block. If you do find yourself blocking, that could help, because like right now I'm having a little bit of mana issues. So besides that, I have a helmet that has Divine Ire Beam Width. This does nothing. Okay, that enchant, I spent a lot of money on the helmet. It does nothing. You might as well not even have an enchant. If you're gonna get an enchant, get like, I don't know, Lightning Dome cast speed, any kind of cast speed enchant, any kind of like mana reservation enchant would be good for any of the auras that you use, right? -9 nearby. This is just for single target. It won't affect any of the ignite prolifs because you're too far away. Radius isn't that big on that, and just armor based all around if you can get it. Okay, so I'm using a Granite Flask here, so when I hit that, I'm at 21,000 armor, right? We'll get that a little bit higher once I get my determination leveled up and stuff like that. Auras I'm using is determination, Herald of Ass, hatred. Now people might ask, why do you use hatred or why not something else? Because hatred is a massive more damage, because it goes like fizzes extra and then more, right? So you have to remember that I have Shaper of Flames where everything ignites, so that's really nice there. Right, defensive stride and damage over time. This is like pretty standard stuff here, because it allows you to get like certain Watcher's Eyes if you want, that will even boost your ignite even more, so that's really nice. But you can also get Watcher's Eyes with determination if you want to be more defensive. If there's a way you can fit an ass with a Spoder, pretty nice there. It slows everything down. It is a more damage taken, right, which is kind of nice, because you don't have much of that on this build. And yeah, that's about it. And here, let's make sure you summon your Harbinger. I have an Arcanist brand that casts Walk, and then I also have a Walk cast on damage taken setup, so that when the little mobs are hitting me, I'm armor based, I'm getting hit all the time. Walk's gonna go out on my hits, right, and then fire expose them, and then if I need it on a boss, I put down the Wave of Conviction, or sorry, the Arcanist brand automatically casts Wave of Conviction all the time, and that leads to exposure as well, right? There's a lot of stuff that deals with exposure on this build. So that's basically, other than that, Azubi's Promise, right? Because that's like extra damage, a Quicksilver for movement speed, and then right now I'm using a mana, but I expect to be able to drop that once I get a minus channeling skills craft Elrion on the amulet. Okay, so that's basically all the gear here. Okay, pretty simple stuff. Lots of people using like pretty much the same thing on the PoEs on PoE Ninja. Some people use like Diadem and stuff. You can try that out if you want, but it's not really that big a deal. This is a pretty standard Ascendancy mode here, right? Very, very tanky with the Bastion of Elements, which takes the Aegis based on the notables that you have, right? I got a little cast speed here, take the life notes here, take a little bit just fire stuff here. Conversion's very nice there, right? We have this because it's just really nice. You could also take the multi over time if you killed recently. I have this note here, and I have a nice little 20 fire multi there. Mana efficiency is very, very important, because I had to use an Enlightened 4 to fit in this this Herald of Ass right here. So you're going to take that. Okay, Lethal Pride. This is here because I tried to get 2 of these nodes, but I couldn't get it. So I had to get it with 1 of these nodes. Ignites deal damage 10% faster, but ideally you want as many of those as you can. This one's kind of nice. 5% strength. It's a little bit more life. +1 max endurance charges, right? And then you have the LE damage here. And this is reduced damage from crits, which is okay. Right, nothing too special here. You got a little bit of life. None of the life, I don't really use life because I'm not using life tap for my divine ire, although I could try that to save my mana. So I haven't taken any of the other masteries, if you're wondering about the life there, right? So you got reduction of cost, you got damage, Now these clusters are very interesting. They're actually not that expensive, right? Because I don't know many people playing like a build like this. So there's burning damage, AoE, there's prismatic heart, which helps with your resist, even though I found out that I had way too much resist, so I didn't really need this. And then I have widespread destruction because any bit of AoE does help. Now, this medium cluster, we have Cooked Alive and Burning Bright, pretty standard stuff here, very, very easy to get and popular gems here. I have a Watcher's Eye with Male Violence here, and then I have Fan the Flames and Burning Bright. So like I have a lot of prolift, right? I've tried out everything, and I've tried out Barracks, this, and the Ignite prolift gem. I've tried out Barracks and this without this, and it's always this very clunky-ish, cluttery feel when I'm doing the math. There's nothing really I can do to change that. Maybe you guys can have some ideas on that, right? Jewels are just going to be life, multi, damage over time, increased global damage, physical damage works, area, oh, actually area damage will work, but what else works? Let's see. Damage over time, damage over time, burning damage, fire damage, multi, and life, right? Just aim for something like that. Get a corrupting blood jewel on one of these. I've gotten mine somewhere down here, right? Yeah, corrupting blood right there. And yeah, that's pretty much my cluster jewel set. I only have 1 of them. Soul of Steel, because it's +1 max res in the armor, plus this +1 max res makes it very, very nice to have any amount of maximum res. Because when you're armor based, you're usually going to be weak to LE damage and spell damage, because it's hard to get suppression over here, and it's hard to get any kind of other defenses that make you real tanky against the elements, right? But I had this like kind of same setup on my gladiators, and I got them both to 100, only dying I think 1 time between 98 and 100, right? So the armor setup is very, very good if you know how to avoid volatiles. Watch out for mirages, don't stand still, right? And always keep moving the scourge. So that's I think that setup is good enough for any build these days if your goal is to push to level 100. I have a little bit of all these like basically like life armor nodes here, and Warcry, just because I have left click on the Enduring Cry, so it always goes off whenever it is ready. So that's basically the build. It's pretty simple, nothing too fancy going on here with like keystone swaps with the timeless jewels and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's basically it. Let me go over to the jewels, I guess, like Divine Ire, Ignite Prolif, Divergent Inspiration. I got the Awakened Swift, I got the Infused Channeling, I got the Awakened Deadly Ailments, right? I got a Male Violence, I got the Enlightened Determination, Hatred. I got a Cast on Death Portal just in case. You don't really need this that much, but it is nice to save you a little bit of time if you die. Arcanist Brand, Wave of Conviction, Flame Dash with the Arcane Surge Divergent because it lasts 2 additional seconds, and then I have the CWDT. What's in here? Oh, this is the Molten Shell setup. So Molten Shell is extremely good, especially if you have a Whale Molten Shell with a little bit of armor, because you will never die. Especially if you roll the Sextants, no soul gain prevention, you'll never die in those maps, right? For as long as that Sextant is up. So really, really crazy. Increased duration for the Molten Shell, and that's about it. So yeah, that's the build. Doesn't feel that good to me. Maybe it's because I've been playing CF so long, and have like 2 level 100 CF characters. It was very smooth. But yeah, something about like the channeling and staying in place of the Divine Ire, and like the having to aim and having the clunk of like the any kind of mob spawning in has like cleanup is a nightmare, because when you have the channel, the ignites maybe don't last long enough. The ignites don't feel like they spread long enough. There feels like there's a delay on some of the ignites when monsters walk over. Maybe that's desync. I don't know. There's something going on with this build. I would recommend the build for people who like Ignite builds, or who maybe like playing BA, Burning Arrow Elementals back in the day, right? It was a few leagues ago. If you are not going to do like Beyonded maps or too much juice in the maps, you just want to like kind of go, some Alch, Corrupt, and Go maps, simple stuff. It is very fun. It was fun in Delve too. And besides that, I can't figure it out. So I don't think I'll be playing this build too much longer. I might tweak a few things here and there off stream to try and see if it feels better. But I just can't shake the feeling that the build is just not going to feel as good as a lot of the other builds this league. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys have played it. Maybe you have some ideas for me to fix the build, make it feel less clunk, a little less, like more overall coverage, cleanup of the stragglers and the spawn-ins and stuff like that. Because, I don't know. Maybe we can come up with some ideas, right? And maybe I'll play the build to 100 or something like that. Because right now I'm level 94, not really enjoying it. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the build before if I do dismantle the character and stuff like that. POB will be below the stream. Have any questions or any suggestions or whatever, you can ask me on my stream, twitch.tv/QJ_, stream every night. And yeah, that's it. That's the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, if you made it this far, it's a long video. You need to subscribe. Click on the subscribe button and click on the like button because you got this far. You watched the whole video. You better subscribe and like the goddamn video. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching my video. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye.